Welcome back to Marbella Now. My name is Nicole King.
Hey, hey, it's a brand new day. Hey, 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 it's a brand new day. Halfway twisted.
It's a pleasure to be hosting Marbella Now once again from the Foreigners Department here at the Palacio de Congresos. As you can see, the Council for Foreign Residents, information for the foreign community. Everybody is welcome here, but a lot of us don't know it exists, which is why I'm recording the program here, so at least my guests can come and find out this place is here and that you get to take a look also. Anyway, let's get on with the program and welcome our first guests.
Hey, hey.
I am delighted to welcome back to the program Irache. We met her a few years ago when we were talking about interior design in a company she was working with, Becada. But she's back today with Mario, and they've got a really exciting project. It's called Food Design Taste, and this is being added to the Art and Design Fair that's going on here at the Palacio de Congresos, the Marbella Exhibition Centre, from the 2nd to the 11th of November. Every year the fair gets bigger and better. I highly recommend that you come. And I love this new addition, designing the restaurants and food that Marbella also offers so that the visitors and participants of the fair get to sample the amazing cuisine we have in Marbella. Irache, Mario, welcome to the program. Bienvenidos.
Gracias. Thank you.
Really exciting project. Es emocionante. De esa creación, Mario, que ha sido tu idea. This has been your idea.
Sí, empezó el año pasado esta idea porque participamos al Marbella Design Art. Este año hemos pensado de añadir un contenido que se llama Food Design Test.
I think it's a lovely idea. He's saying that last year he had the idea of creating this annex to the Art and Design Fair, which is very cool. Obviamente te gusta la gastronomía. You must like food to come up with this idea.
Sí, la idea es haber hecho este abbinamiento, food design, porque yo soy apasionado de gastronomía e Irache obviamente del design. Y con esto hemos creado un circuito gastronómico que es un contenido de la misma feria Marbella Design Art.
Yeah, I mean, it really is a very cool concept because Irache has come from the design field and Mario being involved in cuisine and all things to do with culinary, that they've decided to join their forces to add this little annex to the fair. Irache, cuéntame un poco de cómo combináis diseño y comida. Tell me a little bit how you're designing in like design with the food concept. Are the restaurants selected particularly special design? ¿Los restaurantes tienen un diseño en particular? ¿Qué es lo que los une? What joins them together?
A ver, un poco como Mario ha explicado.
You speak English, come on.
Oh, no, but my English is so rusty. I
no,
can't
your
speak
English is great.
but
Come on,
okay.
you got this.
No, maybe I can explain better in Spanish for explain this project is more easy for me if I explain you in Spanish. I can try in English.
Try, give it a go.
Okay, so how Mario says, I don't know if you know the Feria di Mobile in Milano, and there is a Salone. El concepto vino de ahí, un poco de por qué no hacer algo parecido a lo que se hace en Italia para incentivar a los marbellís y a todas esas personas que vienen durante la feria de diseño esos 10 días y poder incentivar también la gastronomía diversa que tenemos en Marbella. Entonces de ahí le vino la idea a Mario de poder hacer en paralelo, porque creo que se casa bastante bien el diseño y la gastronomía.
Without a doubt, everyone has to eat. I mean, whoever's going to the fair.
Exactly. Y de ahí, pues, we see with different restaurants, with different offers, of course, very different, with different price, and everyone accept a very surprise the idea. Everyone was very exciting for participate. And I don't know, I hope it's going to be very good.
I'm sure it's going to be very good. So what you're actually saying is that Mario actually got the concept when he was at the Milan fairs. and he saw how they have these forums and they're joining together the gastronomy. He's like, well, we need to do this in Marbella because it is a great idea in the sense of we are promoting design and art, and food has become an art in the sense of its displaying, the restaurants that we have, and they're actually saying that the response from the local restaurants of all different price ranges has been absolutely fabulous. Cuéntanos un poco de los restaurantes participantes.
Los restaurantes que participan son completamente diferentes unos a otros, y eso es lo bonito, porque queremos dar la oportunidad a todos. O sea, quiero decir, Marbella no solamente es el lujo y la opulencia, como en muchos sitios es el caso. Queremos realmente mostrar todo tipo de concepto gastronómico en Marbella y de ambientes también, porque no siempre nos apetece ir a un restaurante tranquilo y elegante, a veces nos apetece tener ese concepto español de un poco de diversión, de fiesta, de hablar alto. Entonces tenemos pues desde la fonda, que es el nuevo Relais Chateau, el primero de Andalucía, hasta un Contracata, que está aquí cerca del Paseo Marítimo, que tiene una gastronomía increíble a unos precios muy asequibles.
So what you're actually saying is that they literally have gone from the very traditional international restaurants, the very elegant restaurants, but also including those little tascos, those little bars, those places where you'll get really good food, but in a very Spanish atmosphere and at smaller prices. Entonces, ¿habéis hecho como un mapa o un guía de?
Sí, sí.
So there's kind of like a route that people can do,
Exactly.
that you're explaining the different types of food?
Yes, we prepared a little book with a 16 page, you know, and in this book there is different, every restaurant that participate with us, y en cada restaurante al lado proponemos el menú que ellos proponen durante esa feria, durante la feria de Marbella Design and Art. Entonces, explicamos un poquito el concepto del restaurante y el menú que propone.
That's very cool. So you've got restaurants that are participating and they're actually doing a special menu for the event. And this little 16-page booklet that Irache and Mario put together will give you a brief summary of what the restaurant's like and the menu that they're offering and the price that's going to be, so you can then choose and see where you can go and try. Porque, Mario, es cierto, si tú vas a una ciudad desconocida, inclusive los que vivimos aquí, no conocemos de todo. Es una buena manera de explorar las ofertas de Marbella, in the sense even people who live here, let alone tourists, know everything the city has to offer. So this is really a nice way of learning a bit more about what's on offer.
Sí, correcto. La idea es proprio esta, haber creado un circuito donde la misma gente de la feria, que puede ser los expositores mismos, el cliente mismo y también quien quiere visitar, pueda conocer una Marbella en un periodo del año donde parece que no está nada, ma non è assolutamente así. Entonces la idea es proprio esto, poner a disposizione questo circuito, poniendo a conoscenza sitio come ristorante donde indicaremos con esto que quiero mostrarte, porque esto es realizado con una pegatina donde cada ristorante viene identificado con esto. Entonces esto le da un valor porque hace parte del circuito que hemos llamado.
I think it's a fabulous idea, I really do. It's so cool. They've made these little stickers that are going to be on the participating restaurants, which incorporates them into the art and design fair, which is at a time of year that legendary is kind of like, oh, there's not much going on in Marbella, but that couldn't be further from the truth. Every year we are more a 12-month city. This trade fair brings in a lot of people. As I say, the exhibitors, it grows every year, and I thoroughly enjoy going. It's well worth going. And to have now this additional route that you can go, not the route de la tapa, but the route de la cena, del almuerzo, so everyone can discover the places that we have in our city, try different foods, and meet different people. Va a ser un exitazo. It's going to be amazing success, y cada año más. Each year it's just going to grow.
Sí, assolutamente. Esperamos. Primera edizione, come ti abbiamo dicho anteriormente, estamos súper con muchísima ilusión, sí, porque hemos trabajado mucho por esto. El contenido creo que es un valor añadido a la feria misma del Marbella Design, y il concetto del design, porque al final con la gastronomia il design está siempre metido.
You've designed a great project, De verdad, es un buenísimo proyecto. It's a super project. Irache and Mario have worked really hard. I've been testament to seeing them beginning talking about it months and months ago. The work they put in, speaking to the restaurants, visiting the restaurants, getting them on board, getting all the special menus, and of course getting the people from the art and design to embrace them. The town hall, as always, super supportive of everything that promotes Marbella, because it is up to us, the people who live here, to make that attraction for people to keep on coming. Super bien, really good.
Yo creo que va a ser todo un éxito, confío mucho. Al final la idea ha sido de Mario, obviamente, yo he aportado mi granito de arena y sinceramente creo que hacemos buena pareja en todos los sentidos y tenemos mucha ilusión y estoy segura de que va a ser la primera edición, pero no la última. Así que simplemente queríamos decirte que la gente puede meterse en la web, que imagino que pondréis, muy bonita después, para poder ver el recorrido exactamente por donde se hace.
We will be following you on your tour of the different restaurants in Marbella. Go to the website, you can check out the routes, and again, please do come to the Exhibition Centre for the Art and Design Fair. Go to all the restaurants, and I agree with you, you make a great couple, not just in business, but all round, and it's really lovely to see you just creating magic. I've got goosebumps. Well done, guys.
A Milanese and a Basque together.
Exactly.
Explosive.
That sounds like a colouring dish in itself, from a Milanese Basque, a Basque Milanese.
Sí, Milano y Bilbao, buena combinación,
A good
yo creo.
combination.
Ya que hablamos de Milano, Italia y País Vasco, si tú lo piensas, el food design, donde en el País Vasco está una alta gastronomía, como Irache vasca, y yo que soy italiano, que nacido en Milán, que es una ciudad de design.
So it just lends itself.
Estábamos
hechos para hacer esto, encontrarnos y hacer el food design.
And it was a match made in heaven, absolutely fabulous. So Mario's just saying, he's from Milan, design city of the world, and Irache is from Bilbao, and I have to say, the food up there is awesome. So it just goes together perfectly. Thank you guys, enhorabuena. See you at the fair.
Muchas gracias.
See you at the fair. See you at the fair. See you at the fair.
Everyone in the
So one of the
We
fair.
hope so.
Hey, hey.
Zero. Welcome here at the Gaucho de Banús.
Hey, hey. Hey, hey.
It's a pleasure to welcome back Christopher Clover to the programme. Christopher Clover is Panorama Properties, the first real estate agent here for us foreigners way back in the day. Christopher, how lovely to see you again.
Nice to see you, and many thanks for asking me on your show.
Well, it's an absolute pleasure, and I'm delighted to see that you've done another yearly report on the property market in Spain, particularly here on the coast, but particularly delighted to see that things are really, really looking up. Last year, things were going up. It was looking good, but I think it's exceeded everybody's expectations, don't you?
Well, last year was, I think, the best year for real estate that the whole coast has ever seen. You know? Marbella especially, because after the pandemic, somehow Marbella's reached a level where it was always destined to go. But it's taken more than 50 years. We set up our first office here in 1970.
Wow.
With the perspective that Marbella would become what it has become now, you know? But it's taken a long time.
It has taken a long time, and it's curious how they say every adversity produces a new opportunity. It would definitely seem that since the pandemic and what have you, that people have reevaluated their lives and have decided that their day-to-day, and if they're ever going to be at home, that they want their home to be where they want to be. And that seems to have influenced enormously the sales worldwide, but particularly here.
Well, it certainly has, and then that's also for a number of reasons. First of all, there's probably more liquidity, more money in the hands of people who can afford a second home ever in the history of the recent history of mankind. You have a lot of the reason for that is because you have a lot of young people who've had fantastic ideas, a new app or whatever in IT, and they've sold their ideas and are all of a sudden able to live life on a different level. You also have a lot of baby boomers who've worked really hard all of their lives and are leaving a lot of money to their children. But the whole focus is that Marbella has maintained an exclusivity, an infrastructure, a good local governments, and low-rise construction with more green zones than any of the other cities or towns along the Costa del Sol, and more golf courses as well, and sporting facilities. And we're incredibly, we're a 12-month season now. What used to be, we used to be like all of the other resort cities of the Mediterranean. We'd make hay in the summer when it's the peak season, and then gradually the shoulder season ended, like it still does everywhere else, and goes into the winter where a lot of the facilities and the hotels and the stores close, restaurants, and then gradually opens up again in the spring. Well, we reached a critical mass of population of 100,000 people about 1995, in the middle of Gil's era. That's census population, to which we have to add the floating population of, at the time, maybe 50,000, which gave enough basis for us to keep everything open year-round. So Marbella started a 12-month season in the mid-90s, although our season has always been great in the winter. It wasn't as busy as from the 90s, mid-90s, because of this critical mass necessary in the winter months to keep things going. Well, right now, there is no more low season. The shoulder seasons have merged together, and we're probably the most elegant and popular resort destination of all of Europe. Now, today, people are, I've heard so many times in the last couple of years, people mentioning the market, the real estate market in Dubai, in Miami, in London, and Marbella in the same sentence. But we're a tiny market compared with
It's
these
quite an
other
achievement to
places.
be linked amongst...
Absolutely. So we've grown substantially.
But still not as expensive, for example, as Dubai. And I was quite intrigued to see that the prices per meter, for example, square meter in Ibiza, say so much higher than here. But I suppose, again, it's the availability of land, because Marbella still does have, on our 27 kilometers of coastline, we still have land, which is also a big advantage.
But that said, there's a lack of supply of great properties available for sale. But at the same time, there are new properties being built all the time. There's hundreds of millions of euros being invested in the Marbella area.
So was it 46,000 houses were bought last year?
How many?
46,000?
No, that was in the last 10 years.
Oh, in the last 10 years. God, so that's a lot of houses.
The Marbella market last year was a historic high.
But still the Brits are coming. That's nice to see.
5,200 properties sold. But if you take Benavis and Estepona, it arrives to over 10,000 properties.
Yeah. The thing that I was happy to see was that the British are still coming. They're still the #1 buyers, but then of course we're followed by the Scandinavian countries that are increasing exponentially
And the
their
Germans
presence.
are increasing and the French are increasing, but we're popular.
And cash payments,
place.
when people aren't getting mortgages, we were saying like the high priced properties are actually, very few of them are bought with mortgages. It's kind of like mind blowing to think about it. The higher the price, what they're just coming out with, what's the cash? How does this work?
Well, no, these are people who have invested carefully throughout their lives, and they have the ability to pay. They don't want a mortgage. They don't want to owe money to people. There's a lot of people that they have the money, they don't want to go into a mortgage. There's the other sector of the market of the people who are working here. The working people, of course, they need mortgages. As I would take a mortgage if I bought a property today.
But it's nice to
I'm
see
very
that there
happy
is
where I
that
am.
affluence of money that is coming to the city, which is good for everybody.
Absolutely, and it's the wealth creates wealth. Marbella is today a wealthy city, and it's not people who are looking for just a second home who are investing here. It's a second, first home. In other words, the criteria has changed, less towards holiday homes and more towards, well, we'd like to spend part of the year in our home country, in our home, part of the year in Marbella, and maybe part of the year in
Wherever.
Miami,
Yeah.
Or Dubai, or wherever.
Yeah, it's certainly a changing market, but it's a positive market, and it's really lovely that you come to talk to us about it. It's nice that you do these evaluations so we can all see how well Marbella is doing and how important it is that we all, those of us who live here, work together to keep it a 12-month city. For example, the different events that go on in the Palo, through the Congresses, the Exhibition Centre, the Art and Design Fairs, all these things help bring people in all year.
The expansion of the services of the town hall over the last decade is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, look at this new consul for foreign residents here. But if you look at it in a general sense, the municipal budget of Marbella this year is 333 million euros. And the objective of our mayoress is to leave no corner of this city which hasn't been cared for. Of course, there's a lot of work to be done, but it's by setting one's objectives high that we'll reach there, and then we'll reach towards perfection as far as the municipality and the care and the maintenance issues and the security and all of these things, which are so important for local residents as well as the 35% of the census residents that are who are foreigners living here permanently.
Well, it really is a lovely panorama to see. How about that? A lovely panorama to see. It's a good panorama, and I'm really happy that you're getting to see what you envisioned. That it is, as I say, sometimes, you know, like a famous artist don't get to be celebrated until after their demise. But it's so nice that you're actually living the glory, that you saw it coming, and you've helped make it happen. So well done, you.
Well, thank you so much. If anyone would like to read our most recent market report, you can find it at www.panorama.es under the section of articles. And also we have a wonderful magazine which we publish entirely, which is called the Marbella Property Magazine. And in that magazine you have the market report. We also have a history of our company, which was started here in 1970, but my grandfather founded his first real estate agency in Chicago in 1904. So there's that history. There's an article for buyers, there's an article for sellers, and there are other articles of interest apart from an example of some of the most beautiful properties in the world which are available in Marbella today. These magazines are available by requesting them from our office. We have 2 offices on Marbella's Golden Mile, which is one of them is in Puente Romano, right next to the Nobu reception, and the other is directly opposite the Marbella Club. And we have our magazines, and they're also distributed in different places along Marbella, which we're happy to give to you, or call us and we'll send them to you.
Fabulous. Well, didn't he do well? Well, there you go. Doesn't need me at all. Christopher, lovely to see you. Congratulations on everything.
Thank you so much.
Been a pleasure.
Hey, hey.
Zero Hero, welcome to Canada! Yay!
Zero Hero, welcome to Gaucho-Vanos.
Hey, hey.
Zero Hero!
Welcome to Vigo-Vanos.
Hey, hey, hey.
Welcome to Lemongrass, Doña Lola. Thank you very much.
Hey, hey.
Just want to let everybody know that the United Nationalities of Marbella Summit this year is now going to be on the 14th of December. Really would like you to join in. We're going to concentrate on our children for their opportunities socially and also to get careers in Marbella, because otherwise they'll go to university and they'll have nothing to come back to. We're also going to be looking at AI and the influence, the positive influences it can have with our kids. So please do come to the event. It's going to be at the harbour, so there are limited places, but your input will be much appreciated. And the reason I'm talking about this right now is because my next guest is Rosalind Scott-Gibb, and since I started the summits all those years ago, it's going to be 9 years this year, Rosalind has been very involved, and also very involved and concerned about mental health, very much in that way. So Rosalind, I'm so happy to have bumped into you at the Calendar Girls the other night, and through that now have you here on the programme. Nice to see you.
Pleasure to be here, and lovely to see you, Nicole. Good memories of when you first started that particular meeting or event and how it's grown. Very impressive.
Well, we really have achieved so much. When I think we first started, we were really trying to get facilities for the older people, the people who were alone. And it's lovely to see how Age Concern Marbella San Pedro has grown, how all those charities have fused together through the different events we've done. We've managed to get different consulates and embassies talking to each other and sharing resources. We've managed to get the orphans that were being kicked out of the orphanages at 18 in Malaga because they didn't have funds or anywhere to put them. We've put them in an apartment in San Pedro, finding them jobs and keeping that moving forward. So I really do feel that we have achieved things, a sense of community, but there's one gap in our society is our international kids. It's still very much there, and with the new AI facilities coming out, I think there are ways we can actually embrace that to help kids, for example, who don't know what to do with their lives, they don't know a purpose. I think we can guide them through AI to what their strengths are and help them find careers that are suitable, you know, like the bigger thinker, the bigger picture. So
I worry about children. I have to admit, I don't have children, but I worry about children all over the world, and because I do feel we're living in such a complex world, and this, I hate to be negative, so many difficulties for young people. And then when we had the pandemic and they couldn't go to school, and it really interrupted the educational system. And I think AI does have so much potential in a positive. It's quite frightening in some ways.
it's terrifying.
Because
But I
even
find
the
it
real
terrifying.
experts don't really know where it's going to lead, but there's many positive aspects to it as well. And so anything we can do to guide them and give them direction. You know, I teach English online internationally. So, and my students are all adults, really, but many of them are from 18, well, they're really from 18 to 65, which is very interesting for me. And often they're open to suggestion, and often the younger ones, or even, I had two young women, well, they were women in their 30s yesterday, and it just happened to be a topic on your work. And do you like your job? No, I don't like it. I want to change. One was a tax accountant. What could be more boring than tax accounting? Sorry, tax accounting.
Yeah, unless you
everywhere.
really love crunching numbers, that can just sounds like a calvario. It sounds like a
Yes, and so she wants to go into IT. So neither of them were happy in their career, both from China actually. So I said, well, first of all, you have to practice interviewing. We do have one topic where you're being interviewed and asked all the questions. So there's ways that I really try to guide people, be of assistance. I really do. I'm afraid I say to young women, no, you don't have to get married and have 3 children and
No,
look
you
after
don't.
your parents. You can. There are other alternatives. You don't have to feel guilty about it.
But it's
either.
curious, we live in a society, I always say that Disney has a lot of responsibility of this idea of, you know, the prince and being a princess and everything and yet you don't. I find that I'm single and so many people are like, oh, like they feel sorry for you, and it's like, excuse me.
I'm the lucky one.
Exactly.
It is a choice. It is a choice.
And it's a lovely choice in the sense, and I do feel that particularly for men and for women, if we can learn to just be happy in ourselves, anything else is the complementary, but to look for that happiness through somebody else is always a problem. Like looking for a career that you don't enjoy because of perhaps the potential gainings, and it's a good job. I think it's better to be a stable boy. If you're happy with what that money gives you and with the lifestyle, I really think that's changed a lot. Have you noticed also the change of people becoming more self-aware?
Well, I think, you know, well, in the UK there was this huge change when, what's his name, Prime Minister, anyway, about 15 years ago, and he decided everybody should have a degree. So it went from 10% to 50%. So then you have all these people who are not capable of doing anything, whereas there were no electricians, no plumbers, and so there's been a change back in the United States and in the UK about this, so that people can have, often making more money, and a satisfying career. In China, as I say, a lot of my students are and they're directed into a certain program depending on their marks, and often they're very unhappy with the career. And so I promote things like gratitude and don't live in fear, being willing to change. You know, it makes me laugh because, you know, I went to Kenya on my own after university. So I have examples of things, well, just do it. Feel the fear and do it anyway. If it doesn't kill you.
But that's what you say, feel the fear, but do it anyway. In the sense, of course, doing something new gives you apprehension and uncertainties.
Feel it. Don't deny it. Don't deny it. Don't pretend to be something you're not. Feel the fear and then go forward. Just keep focused. Focused on what you want to do, not what you're leaving behind, not the fear, all of that. And the other one of if it doesn't kill you, it will, you know,
makes you stronger.
Makes you stronger, which just makes me laugh, but it's so true, isn't it?
Well, look at you. I mean, you're strength personified. And one would say, seeing you have style, you have your own style. You follow, obviously, the way you feel and how you want to dress and how you want to be, very elegant. And you yourself, has that been something that has been difficult for you? Because I think you've been that way your whole life, and yet you've lived through different times of really that being quite unacceptable.
Oh, absolutely. Well, you know, I started sort of designing and making clothes when I was about 12, so it's always been part of me. It's like a relaxation. It's like a therapy relaxation. It's very creative, and it's fun. You know. But I think the whole thing also with young people, you have to emphasize that we have to be adaptable. We have to be willing to change. I mean, I studied social psychology at university, and then I went from journalism, writer, photographer, to photographer, writer, to photographer, radio, and now teaching. I retrained and kept taking courses, and that's what a lot of students, I say, I'm still taking courses now. I took 3 courses. I thought, well, if I have time, I'd like to try writing short stories. Well, that's one of the most difficult genres. And so I've taken various courses on that. And so to encourage people to keep learning, keeps, you know, first of all, it keeps you humble. You know, if you
Yes.
keep learning, taking courses, it keeps you humble. And to emphasize gratitude, be grateful for what we have. And, you know, these things just add to quality of life, don't they?
It's funny because it's so true, this being grateful, some people call it like poppycock, in the sense of, oh, these are
those old things, cliches.
Yes, but it's amazing how much better things go when you just take a few minutes to think of all the things we do have to be grateful for. I think perhaps because it puts us in that more positive vibration, and energies attract. It's like when you tune into a radio. You know, if you're tuned into 101.1, you're not going to hear the station next to it.
Yes,
you just have to be open to the positivity. And again, think about what we do like. And I think the world would be better if we all thought of what we do like, what we're good at, and regardless what it is, then look for the way of making money from that.
Exactly, and less money. You know, we don't need
We don't need so many things.
we don't need that much money to be happy. But the other thing, which, you know, it's a simple thing, but it's quite difficult to achieve, but to concentrate on the day and sort of see what you can give for each day, and not what you can take, but what you can give, even if it's helping somebody cross the street, you know, anything. I'm particularly into animals, and all animals. I just have a definite affinity with and I think we've made a big mistake throughout history to think that man is greater than all other beings. If we were so great, why are we in the mess we're in today?
Exactly.
And to be a bit more appreciative and looking after the animals around us, I think is really, really important. So, to do this with children, to help children's awareness on this, I think can give a great deal to them.
I think we've been desensitized through the educational system. I mean, for me, I think it's horrific that children that naturally want to run and be free and explore, we have them locked up inside rooms and actually giving them information as opposed to them letting them find out their own information.
And creativity.
It kills creativity.
Creativity. I mean, children are, I would say, naturally creative, and it's kind of drummed out of you unless you're lucky enough to have a family and teachers that encourage it. It's drummed out of you, and that is such an incredible waste.
Yeah, I've seen studies actually that show that children are like the IQs, little tiny ones, they're really high IQs, and the older they get, the more they're into the education system, the dumber we become.
I think that's so sad.
It's very sad, but as you say, it depends on the families and friends and the area we're in to surround ourselves with people who at least can compensate.
I like
with
that there's been
views.
so many good points about the environment. We're about 20 years late in increasing awareness on the environment, but at least the young people have grasped hold of this and are concerned about it and interested and involved. And I think that's really an important step forward. So we really have to help children as much as we can, nurture them, not spoil them.
Yes.
Not spoil them.
Not spoil. There's a big difference.
Yes, nurture their creativity. You have children, don't you?
I do, and I now have grandchildren as well. And the amount we learn from children, as they say, out of the mouth of babes, but it's so true. They see things clearly, and as my son said to me when he was 8 about a teacher, he might have more information than me, but it doesn't make him smarter than me.
Wow.
And I really made me think, and it's like, yes, the guy is older, has more information, but yes, he's not as smart as my son was, not just because he's my son, but in the sense, because they're young doesn't mean they're stupid. It just means they're not as old and they haven't got as much information, but we can learn a lot from our kids.
I'm amazed, a friend of mine, her granddaughter, she's 2.5. I'm just amazed at how insightful she is and sensitive and aware. I mean, admittedly she's an only child, and that does help sometimes. It depends. Again, a lot of it does depend on the family.
Depends
2.5.
on the family.
And she's, I mean, she could be considered a bit precocious, but that these are very important years. you know, for a child, and to nurture it, which is what her grandmother's doing, helps a great deal.
Undeniably. It's lovely to see you again, Rosalind. It's lovely to listen to you again. Words of wisdom from a creative and insightful woman. And it's lovely that you're teaching and that you're be able to share not only learning English, but also your thoughts and values and helping others find their path.
And encourage, to be able to help encourage people, as you say, to find their path, not to feel guilty, not to feel fear, but to just think, often that's what we need, just somebody to give you a little push at the right time. So it's quite gratifying, I must say.
I'm sure it is. So if you want English lessons, this is the lady. It's an all-round package. You get more than just English. Rosalind, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
And I look forward to seeing you at the United Nationalities of Marbella.
All right.
It's a brand new day.
Zero Hero, welcome to the Secret Garden. We welcome you.
It's a brand new day. Hey, hey.
It's a pleasure to welcome back to the programme Linda Greenway. The only way is the green way. Linda is such an expert on everything to do with our health in all aspects, particularly what we ingest. Everything that goes in our body makes a big difference. And Linda has years of experience which she's accumulated through all her travels around the world and real life experiences, which is a pleasure to have her on the programme. Linda, I'm just so blown away with all the things you know. It's like, how come you know so much?
That I don't know, I just accumulate. I mean, my mum used to be one who always used to say she's a mind full of useless information. And so I don't know, maybe I picked it up from my mum, I don't know.
Well, I've enjoyed knowing you through the Urban Boutique Hotel. Mm-hmm. Fabulous little hotel that unfortunately you closed down a couple of years ago due to the pandemic.
Yeah.
But they say every adversity brings new opportunity, and I kind of think it has freed you up to firstly be part of Good Morning Spain, so very nice to have you on the team for that, but also for you to do retreats and explore a bit more and do more events perhaps in a different way. Tell us a little bit about the process of how you found your new path, because I'm sure it's been a challenge.
Well, my new path, if you're talking about recently, but I've always, from when I was young, I mean, my father actually died when I was 10 years old.
Oh, sweetheart, I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. But he died with cancer, and it was really fast and within 6 months. And I think then I really felt like you have to enjoy every moment and really have to look after your body. And even from a really young age, even I wanted to look after my mum and all the rest of it, so I did all sorts of diplomas in holistic therapies, but also even my travels that I did sort of brought me into more and more people who were shamans, people who were medicine men, and eventually there was my hometown in Lancashire. They wrote in a magazine called the Lancashire Life magazine that I was the Indiana Jones of the region. No, of the region, because of one of the stories that happened. I mean, my mum was always telling everybody about everything that I was doing. And yeah, I travelled between the ages of 20 and 30, more than 50 countries.
Wow.
It was because I'm just one of these curious people, and if people tell me about something, I've got to go there, I've got to try it, I've got to like feel it. And it was well before internet, before you could research things, and I wasn't much of reading books to find out where I was supposed to be going. So yeah, people would tell me about a place, and I was like, okay, tell me when's the best time to go, how to get there, and then I just end up going there. And I did this for quite a number of years, but then I traveled through South America, and that was fascinating for me, and that showed me even more things. I was in La Paz, which is the highest city in the world. I mean, I had to have coca leaves because of the altitude, so those are all other things that I was learning. But in La Paz, I wanted to have healthy things, so I had nice fresh juices and stuff, but I got typhoid fever. You're not supposed to have anything that's not cooked.
Oh, really?
So yeah, I got typhoid fever. I was in the hospital for like 8 days. And the doctor came to me after a couple of days and said, Linda, how are you doing? I said, how am I supposed to get better? I'm getting burgers, I'm getting fried chicken. He's like, I can't get better with this kind of stuff. And so it was really sweet. The chef from this hospital would come up every morning and say, Madam, what would you like to eat today? So I was having plantain, I was having quinoa before quinoa even came to Europe. I'm talking about a long time ago now. And so, yeah, I started feeling better. And the doctor did say to me, don't go traveling. You've got to take a bit of a break because it was really bad, this typhoid fever that you had. I was like, okay. But then my friend Petra, I was traveling with her all through South America, and she was saying, Linda, I can't wait for you to get out of the hospital. Let's go to the jungle. I was like, really? I was like, okay, let's go to the jungle. Well, as soon as I got to the jungle town, because you can't really call it a town there, I started feeling sick again. And it was like vomiting, diarrhea. We were in a hotel. It was like dripping taps and cockroaches. I mean, it wasn't really the best of places. And at 7 o'clock the next morning, the jungle guide came to pick us up, to take us into the jungle. And he said, come on, girls. And I looked at him and said, there's no way I'm coming. I feel sick. He said, come with me. You need uña de gato. I was like, uña de gato? I have no idea what this man's talking about. Cat's claw. So then he made the shavings of a bark, and I drank this tea 4 times a day. We did go into the jungle with the canoes. We were like with the boats. So we were like in like hammocks and all the rest of it. We were piranha fishing. Have you ever done piranha fishing?
Oh, no.
Oh, it's fascinating. It's absolutely amazing. You throw meat into the lake and it's just
a frenzy.
Just frothing. It's like they're just like a frenzy of fish. And then you throw your little rod with a little bit of meat on it on a hook, and you have to, as soon as a fish bites, you've got to pull it out fast.
But you eat it?
Yeah, it was delicious. It was a little bit like cod, but they're only small little things. And it was with the Brazil nut oil, because it was Brazil nut season, so I can tell you a little bit about Brazil nuts as well. So anyway, and the cat's claw was this vine that grew right to the jungle top. And it was like one of these vines that just crawls up all the trees. But it's called cat's claw because it's got like these claw-like projections. But cat's claw is really good for boosting up the immune system, really good for the digestive system, and really good for the intestinal system. So it was like perfect for everything that I needed to sort myself out with the typhoid fever that was like coming back again. Well, I felt fabulous for like 2 years. I didn't notice any sickness, any bugs, any flu, any viruses, nothing for a long time after that. And the guy that we had, he knew all the medicinal plants, and he'd actually cured himself from malaria from the quinine plant. And he'd also like knew of all the other medicinal plants. So I kind of started my journey sort of along those lines. I mean, even in the hospital, I was having coca leaf tea. And even that's really good for claustrophobia. It's good for also diarrhea. It's good for headaches. It's good for a lot of things. I mean, it's a shame we don't have coca leaf tea over here.
What a shame is, I think, is that the laboratories have just hijacked the industry because they make money off it, and yet it is proven for millenniums that the natural resources are undeniably the best and the most efficient.
Yeah. No, but for me, all of my path, all of my travels, all the places I seem to go, I seem to meet people who would be helping me, guiding more on the path. I mean, even I don't know if you're into energetic things or spiritual things, but I had a massage and it was absolutely amazing, this massage. I said to the guy, what did you do afterwards? It felt like I wasn't my body anymore. And so he actually printed off a whole load of, whole book, so then I could take it with me on my travels. So I was with pendulums and I was trying all these kind of things out. I mean, some stuff sounds a little bit way out, but I like to just try things and see for myself of
Well, our bodies do emit energy,
yes,
in the sense if you could be in a room and suddenly feel like something and look and someone's looking at you, in the sense of we do feel and project energy. So I kind of, and we are, as science says, we are made up of just little atoms and energy. It does make sense when you think about it logically, as opposed to how we've been perhaps guided to think that we don't have as much power in our own bodies as perhaps we do.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, everything is fascinating. I mean, I have a little bit of telepathy, which is a little bit crazy when someone's like in front of me and they ask a question in their head and I answer it to them and they said, I didn't ask you that. I was like, oh, did you not? But I asked you, I thought about asking you that. So yeah, there's, I mean, yeah, the more we learn about ourselves, I mean, the more and more fascinating it gets. So yeah. But no, I love everything when it comes to mind, body, soul. That's why I like to do all the things, the holistic things. I love being on your program, showing people like little tips of how they can improve on their health, because I mean, it's so important to look after ourselves in today's world. We just like seem to be on a rat race. We're all like running and we only look at ourselves when we feel sick. And it's better to prevent everything. I'm very much into preventive medicine and alternative medicine along those lines.
And you love to cook as well, so you seem to have combined these passions and turned it into a career, which I think is a great example for our youth and for anybody watching, in the sense you've had a hotel, a boutique hotel was very much evolved around wellness and people doing retreats, but you've now just adapted that online, setting up retreats in different places and combining your passion and your knowledge, as I say, with the different ingredients and your love for cooking, which is, I mean, you look so well on it. It has to be, it has to work, because just look at you.
Yeah, no, but I love all that stuff. In fact, I do have a retreat organised at the end of January. It's going to be a detox retreat. And
what does that mean, a detox retreat?
Detox retreat. It's a gentle detox. So I'm going to be doing some Ayurvedic food. So with the Ayurvedic spices. So
What's Ayurvedic?
Ayurveda comes from India, from 5,000 years, but it's actually fascinating. I mean, I was in an Ayurvedic retreat only a few weeks ago, and it's fascinating. The doctors, just by doing the pulse, they know kind of what's going on in your body and what type of person you are and what foods are better for you. No, it's absolutely fascinating. But they believe in 6 different tastes. So you've got the salty, the sweet, the bitter, the sour, and it's important to have those in your diet. But what I like is the Ayurvedic kind of spices, which is the fennel, the cardamom, the fenugreek, ginger, turmeric, pepper, all these things which really gets the digestive fire going, because it all starts in the digestion. And if you can get the digesting well, then you get the nutrients absorbing better into your body. And as long as you're getting the toxins going out of the body, then that's the main
Sold.
thing that you should look after.
I'm in.
You should look
January,
after that.
Ayurvedic retreat.
Yeah.
You must come back on the programme before then to remind everyone. We can go through it in more detail. We can start talking just about that. And for the moment, we have to leave it there. But we could go on for ages.
Oh yeah,
I mean, it's so fascinating. In fact, it's funny. Yesterday, I went to the dentist and my neighbour and said, "Where are you going?" So off to the dentist. She goes, "But just brush your teeth with honey and pepper."
Yes.
And then she started doing her exercises that Kate showed her. So it's nice to see that the information is helping. And as you can see, Linda says it so simply. You make it very simple. Thank you, Linda.
No,
See you again very soon.
Yes.
And don't go away, because I'll go back with Lily Van Tongeren after this short break, because we're going to be hearing more of what's going on with AAA and some Halloween wonders that are coming up that we can go and help contribute to keep the rescue centre going.
Zero Hero.
Welcome to Vigo Anus.
It's a brand new day. Hey.
Sitting with me now is the lovely Lily Van Tongeren, Vice President of AAA Animal Rescue Centre. The Rescue Centre for Pets in Marbella is very special because it's a no-killing zone, which is actually quite unusual in Spain. The animals that go into AAA, everything is done to keep them alive and above all find them new homes, which is a never-ending saga, as Lily knows well. For the 9 years I've done the programme, 8 of them you've been coming on the programme, and it's amazing to see how well AAA is doing in spite of all the adversities, because it's shocking how many adversities you have and the challenges every month just to meet the bills.
Yes.
So tell us a bit about, are you back in the new premises?
No,
not
we're
yet.
Still not back. It should happen very soon. We were hoping that end of October we were going to get the keys, or at least the keys would go to City Hall. They would then finalize all the finer details and then deliver the building to us. That does not mean the end. That means we can move. But before we can move, there is a tremendous amount of work to be done, of course. We're going to need a lot of people, which we are asking for, but also we need a lot of financial support, a lot of things that we need. I mean, we're getting a building, but everything else inside needs to be done by us. And we are getting some support with medical equipment, but we need more. We need things for the offices. We need, of course, specifically coming up in the winter, a lot of blankets and
Do you have a wish list?
Dogs.
Is there a list of things that you need that we can share?
There is a list on the website. All the information is there, things that people could buy for us if they wanted to. More specific list needs to be made once we know what is there and what isn't there. But basically it is an empty building, and some offices and cages for the dogs. That's it. So everything else, we can take some of the things that we have, like toys for the cats. Specifically for the cats, we need a lot of things. The climbing walls, the play things, the scratch poles, but we also need a lot more things like that. But a special list will probably be published soon, once we have a little bit more of the detail of the space itself.
And obviously with winter coming up, as you said, towels and blankets.
Towels, blankets right
and
away.
washing powder.
Yes, yes, lots. And yeah, blankets, towels at the moment, sheets, very important with the cold weather coming up, because a lot of the cages are outside and not inside. So we're going to need a lot of those, and it's very difficult to wash all of them.
And who's sitting with you? We can't ignore him any longer. No. He is making himself a scene. Who is this?
This is Dorian.
I love the name, Dorian.
Well, I tell you why I gave him that name. He was brought in about 2 weeks ago, and he was found in the field alone, and he had a big bite out of his cheek, of which you can see just a little bit now. It's healed very well at this point. It will always be a scar. But I was thinking of Dorian Gray, the picture of Dorian Gray, you know, once he goes. So, and I thought Dorian was an absolutely beautiful name.
And that's where that mind is coming from.
Yes. So I thought it was an absolutely beautiful name for this little guy. He's only about 7 weeks right now.
What type of dog is he? Do we know?
It's going to be a small Podenco.
Oh, okay, he's a Podenco.
Just a typical hunting dog.
The typical Spanish hunting dog.
Yes. So I assume he was either bitten by a rat or by another dog, either escaped or was thrown away because of the wound, which happens. And
he seems to have a very nice temperament.
Yeah, when he's quiet. He's got his own little will already. And but I keep him at home till he gets stronger, till the wound is healed, till he is about 8 or 9 weeks, when he's ready for adoption. Because of course it's a little one that should have been with his mum up till now. But so I'm.
Well, he's looking like he's doing really well. How many dogs do you have in the shelter right now?
Close to 200, around 250, a little bit more than 250 at the moment, as more than 300 cats.
Wow.
Yes, it's
Do people adopt cats?
Yes, we do have adoptions here. We have still the transport with cats to Germany. A lot of people in Germany with our sister organization, they adopt cats as well as dogs. Yesterday we had 3 dogs that went to the United States. No, not the United States, United Kingdom. They went to England. They were adopted there. So yeah, we're trying still
Curious, no, that people from different countries adopt from Spain. Is it because they don't have the same problem? I mean, in England we have, I imagine, abandoned animals.
Yes, you have abandoned
animals. Why would people
animals.
adopt abroad? What's the incentive, you think?
I think because when they're here, there's a lot of people that come to Spain, they see the circumstances of which some of the dogs are, and they're worse than in any other country, except of course the East. But yeah, the dogs here are not, and the shelters here are not the same as the shelters in the northern countries. We have a shelter in Holland, in the city where I come from. It's full when there are 76 dogs in there, and they have heated floors. So I mean, the shelters for the abandoned dogs, and usually the abandoned dogs in the northern countries aren't the ones that being picked up out on the street, because they don't have the wild dogs or whatever. They're just dogs that are either not wanted anymore, but they're not, or badly treated, which happens in other countries as well, but not as bad as here. And I think that's what they see here. We have so many more in Spain, and so many more in very, very bad and different circumstances.
I mean, it's amazing how many people here, particularly in the countryside, that have dogs only as guard dogs. They just leave them chained there to guard premises and warehouses. It's a different philosophy. And Podencos, originally they used to just hang them after hunting season. I mean, that's just shocking what it used to be like. But Spain's changed enormously over the last few years with different laws and rights for our pets.
As a matter of fact, there is new laws at the moment. They went into effect on the 29th of September, and that is the first time that dogs are being having to be not to be used as items to be used, but have the same rights as family members. They are now become family members. There is stricter laws on how long you can keep them alone. There are stricter laws of not having them on a chain. You cannot have them on balconies for too long, or in not longer than 48 hours alone out in a field or whatever, which happened a tremendous amount. A lot of dogs, as you said, were used as items to use, to guard, and they would sometimes live alone to guard an empty house, and only once a week they would get some water and food. Now those things are having to change and will change, but it still takes a long time. There are still parts of the cultural idea that sterilization, for instance, is not done because it takes away the manlyhood of a dog, which of course is nonsense. But specifically out in the countrysides and in the campo, there are still some of the older ideas that need to change, and you do not change that overnight.
No, but it
takes
started.
generations, but it's starting, and it's a lot better already, which is good.
To finish off with, you've got a lovely Halloween event coming up. Where's it going to be? What's going on?
Yeah, we have two Halloween events coming up on the 28th, both on Saturday. First of all, in the morning at AAA itself, we have a wonderful spooky Saturday for the volunteers and children to come and celebrate a bit of Halloween, but basically to walk the dogs. The dogs will have nice Halloween scarves. We have a haunted house, can get pictures taken with dogs. We have goodies, candies. We have a pumpkin carving contest, so people can bring their pumpkin, and we have prizes for the best costume.
That sounds like fun.
So it's a lot of fun for children as well as adults, and for the dogs to be playing a little bit more.
Families, Saturday, we're going to AAA in the morning. Yep.
Yes, and in the evening, of course, we have the Halloween dinner, which is at La Sala Banús, and that is with costume if you like. Wonderful dinner, entertainment by a wonderful singer, Laila, and DJ, so a lot of fun evening to dance and to enjoy. Have a wonderful raffle. Absolutely wonderful prizes donated by a lot of good businesses, etc. here in Marbella. So a lot of good things for Halloween, and of course all the money will go directly to the animals.
So much needed funds for AAA.
Yes.
If you would like to put on an event, or you've got a birthday, something coming up, you can always do a collection for AAA. If you want to walk dogs, you don't have to, it's not just Saturdays anymore.
No, most of the dogs, or a lot of the dogs, will be walked every day.
Fabulous. Well, that's all we have time for this week. Lily, congratulations.
Thank you.
Dorian, lovely to meet you. I hope you find a wonderful forever home. And I want to thank all of you for joining us once again to meet the fabulous folk that make up our resident community here in Marbella, making it so wonderful for everybody else just to come and visit. Thank you very much. Take care of yourselves. If you want to check out recordings of the programme, you can do so from the rtvmarbella.tv website, or go to my website, nicoleking.es, for links to the programme, also to our Zero Hero website, where you can see restaurants, bars, hotels that offer free soft drinks to the designated drivers. So why pay if you don't have to? And remember, here at the Palacio de Congresos, on the top floor, is the Foreigners Department, and they are so ready to help you out with whatever you need. There's a great space here where you can give talks, you can come and do meetings. We've got the auditoriums where you can host amazing events. But above all, come in, check it out, meet Oti Moises and the team, and realise that Marbella, if this is your home, it's up to us to also make it our home. Take care of yourselves, be nice to each other, and see you again next week. Hasta ahora.